Welcome back to another video about text processing. In this video, we will look at how to harvest comments from YouTube videos. The objective is that students will harvest comments from YouTube videos with YouTube's API. Step one is to get an API key from YouTube at Google's Developers Console and to start a free trial to activate the key. So let's do that real quick. I have a link here to Google Cloud Console if you want to use get that link from my lesson plan, or just Google Cloud Console. I bet you get here. Now I'm already logged in to Google. I can see that my icon's up here. I can tell I'm already logged in. And so if you don't have an app already or a project already, you probably will see maybe a create project button perhaps in the top right. I'm not totally sure what it look like if you don't have a project already. If you already have some projects created, they'll be in this list here. And if you need to create a new one, here's a new project button within this window. Let me just start from the top again. I came into Google Cloud Console, and because I personally have already made projects in the past, I don't see a create project button right here, right in front of me. But if I click on this download in the top left of my screen there and look for new project, I can create a new project there. But if you're new and you haven't created any project with Google, I am wondering if one of the buttons right here front and center will be like create project or new project. I'm not totally sure. But you need to find the button that says new project or create project. So I will do so. I'll click on new project there. I'll give my project a name. I'll call it Demo 360. I don't need to worry about organization here. I'll just say create. Good, it's creating, it's spinning, working there. Good, creating a project, Demo 360. And now it says select project there right within this little notifications window. This notification window is on the right side of my screen. That's coming out of this little icon. Right there it says select project. If that window does not appear, then you can come up to this drop down right here and look for your project name, Demo 360. So there's two ways to get to the project we just created. Okay, so that's step one, is to create a new project. Step two is to enable APIs and services. This button right here, it says a plus sign, enable APIs and services. We'll click that. And then we're looking for YouTube Data API v3 down here. There are three YouTube APIs. We want the first one that says, well, the one that's called YouTube Data API v3. So we click on that, and we click on Enable. After a few seconds, it should finish up. There we go. Terrific. And that's just fine. On the top right, it says, there's a blue button that says Create Credentials. Right there it says, this info says to use this API, you may need credentials. Click Create Credentials to get started. So I'm going to click Create Credentials right here, this blue button on the top right of my screen. I'm circling with my mouse, my cursor right now. Click it. And then it says, which API are you using? We're using YouTube Data API v3. Yep. We want to use public data, the option that says public data. Public data, not the user data. Good. And we say next. Okay, so I cut out what it showed because it actually showed my personal API key. And so when I clicked on that previous button, it actually did show me my 30 character long alphanumeric character code. I don't know if it's exactly 30 characters, but it's really long, like 30, give or take, maybe more, characters long code called my API key for this particular project, for this particular app. So you need to grab that code and store it so we can use it in a minute in Python. The next step is to actually activate it. And it says, start your free trial with $300 in credit. Don't worry, you won't be charged if you run out of credits. So over here on the top right of the screen, it says activate, right there. And it says, what country are you in? I said I'm in the United States. It says organization. None of these look like me, so I'm going to say other. I'm going to click have read and click continue. After a few seconds, now I'm at the point where it wants to take my credit card. But it does say $300 credit for free. Put Google Cloud to work with $300 in credit to spend over the next 90 days. No charge, no auto charge after free trial ends. we ask you for your credit card to make sure you are not a robot. You won't be charged unless you manually upgrade to a paid account. Okay, so in order to use Google's API to get access to YouTube comments, you need to put a credit card in here, and they have this free trial period. And so you put your credit card in here and start your free trial like that. Okay, so that is how you set up the API. The next step is to download a Python module called Google-API-Python-client, right? Within PyCharm, you can add this module like we've added previous modules, right? You come up to your preferences window on Windows machines. I think it's under file settings, if I'm not mistaken. And then you go to project name, project interpreter, and then you click on the plus sign and search for Google-API, and it's Python client down here. Google API client library for Python. Okay, it's actually made by Google there. So you install the package, right? I've already done so. That's why it's already blue on my computer here. It says package and Google API Python client installed successfully. Good, terrific. You can pip install if you like to pip install. If you know what that is, go for it. However you want to install the module. Okay, then we're going to request from comments from videos with the video ID. So the video ID of a YouTube video is in the URL. So for example, I'll just go to Dude Perfect. Dude Perfect is a YouTuber group that I sometimes watch. And so here is a video, recent video. Unbelievable. You can see up here, I'll just stop at. Up here in the URL itself, you can see the ID of the video right there in the URL. On the right side of that V equal sign, that 9x_NBT89x-C, that is the ID, unique ID for this video. You can also get, if you were to come down here and click on share below the video, this is the second way to get that same ID. There it is right there on the right side of that last forward slash right in there. Okay, so we need that ID right there. Okay. For a video you want to get the comments from. And you can get 100 comments max without having to loop over additional pages, which you can do. There's a Stack Overflow response here that shows code on how you could loop over additional pages. It's kind of involved. He's creating a command line tool here, command line script. Anyway, there is a next page token. If there's a next page token, you can get more than just 100. For this demo and for the homework, you don't need to do that if you don't want to. But you could if you like for a final project or some, if you need more data from YouTube, you can page through the next pages of comments. Okay, so you get the comments out with the video ID using some code. I'll show you in a second. That one first video shows you the guy who's showing you how to get the API set up, get the API key. He shows you how to do it. Actually, he doesn't show comments. He shows you how to get statistics about the channel. But you get the comments and you save the JSON object. It comes back as a JSON object. You save that JSON object to a JSON file on your hard drive. And then in a different Python script, you parse through that JSON file and pull out the comments. Now, the reason that I feel it's better to save the JSON object to your hard drive, and then in a different script, work on getting the comments out of the JSON file, is because as you're trying to create the code to get the comments out of the JSON file, you're going to make mistakes, right? And if you were to have to run the code that queries the API every time, you would quickly hit your quota, your daily quota for querying YouTube's API. There's a limit on how much you can get per day. So to avoid that, I would recommend that you save the JSON object to a JSON file on your hard drive, and then don't run that code again, and then just start working on your script to parse out the JSON file. Okay, so Again, these are the steps to get comments from YouTube videos with YouTube's API. Again, you have to just use a web browser and go get an API key from the YouTube developers app. YouTube is owned by Google. That's why it's on Google's site. And you download this module. Good. You get some comments with video ID. You save that comment object or that JSON object to the hard drive, and then a different script you parse through. So that's what I will show you here. It's more of a demo, but if you have or would like to watch this other guy's video and see how he does it, see if you can manipulate his code to make it get comments. If you like to. If not, just continue watching here. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to get 100 comments from that Dude Perfect video I just showed real quick. And so what you do is from Google API client.discovery, you import this function called build. I'm also going to import JSON so I can save out the JSON object to the hard drive. And you have your API key, which is that big, long, like 15 or 20 character code. I have mine hidden here, right? I have the code folded there. Here's the video ID from the URL of the Dude Perfect video. Okay, like I showed you a second ago. On line 14, I use that build function I imported above. I import it on line 2 up here. And then the first argument is a string, lowercase YouTube, that has to be lowercase. And then the second argument is another string for v3, which is version 3 of their API. And then you need to name this one developer key with a capital K equals the API key that you have for your on your account that you did through the browser. Okay, so that builds that creates this object here, and then you use that object. I'm just going to call it YouTube. Keep it simple. YouTube.comment threads with a capital T on threads, open close parentheses, dot list, open parentheses, and then we're gonna supply 4 arguments here. And I'm not going to explain each of these in detail. There's a truckload of stuff you can do with YouTube's API, and the documentation is very thorough, very detailed. But for the moment, this is how you get comments out. You use this comment threads function, and you pass in this part snippet. Max results will get 100 max results. The default is 20, so I'm going to push up to 100. Once again, if you want to page through and get more comments, like another set of 100, you can do so, but that's not the purpose of this video. And then the video ID is careful with the capitalization here. I use video ID. I mean, I could do whatever variable name I want right here, right? This can be anything I want like that. But the argument name in this function is video capital I lowercase d. And whatever variable name you use up here on line 12, you need to use down right here. And then text format, plain text. So it'll come back as a plain text, but JSON formatted text. And you say that to something like call request, and then you need to execute it. Right. And then I'm just going to print it out to the console so I can see that it works. But then I'll just immediately push it out to the hard drive, my hard drive. I'm going to create a JSON file with titled YouTube_comments_ video ID. That is that unique identifier for the YouTube video, right? Which I put in right here on line 12. That gets passed in on line 18 as well. And I'll use it again here to create the file name. And .json, I'm going to write out as out file. So I do out file.write, and then I use JSON dumps. Dumps, that S right there means string. Dump a string. Dump the response that you get back on 21. Ensure ASCII equals false so that it renders Unicode stuff like emojis. Okay, so that is it. Not a whole lot of code going on here. Obviously, this package is doing the work. We're just using this package, this module. These 2 functions right here do the majority of the work. And then 3 functions. And then we just save it out to the hard drive as a JSON file. So after I run this, I should have a file in my downloads directory with named YouTube comments with this code here, this ID. So let's see if that works. All right, I'm going to run the script, keyboard shortcut, enter. Let me just pull this up. Okay, exit code 0, good. And I have some JSON stuff going on in here. This is all JSON code. Right, you can see it looks like a dictionary, what will become a dictionary in Python. You can see this is the actual comment itself, the text. I feel like if I had DPHQ2, I would never go home because it has everything. Apparently I have to comment on this video. Let me just see real quick if I can find that comment. Let me just scroll down so that it triggers the Ajax to go get more comments a couple times, see if I can just find this. As I'm scrolling down, it gets more comments, does an Ajax request thing and gets more comments to this website. Let me just see if I can find that exact comment just for the fun of it. And I feel like, I'll just search for if I feel like, or I feel like. That's not the comment I just saw. I feel like if I had, nope, that's not it. Anyway, it's somewhere in here. They get so many comments. These guys are really popular, and so maybe there's just comments coming out the wazoo here. Anyway, so I have the comments here, but I have all sorts of other stuff, right? This is a JSON data structure with all sorts of data. The thing I care about as a linguist that I want to analyze are the comments. But for now, I just want to save them out to the hard drive, and I did that already actually with this code. So I should, in my downloads, now have a, yeah, there it is. Let me just delete the other things that aren't part of this. So the one right here, the one that's left is YouTube comments and then that ID for the video, right? So if I just open this up in a text processor like Atom, here it is. So you can see I have an opening square, opening curly brace that is, and that's the only opening curly brace. So it would come into Python as one big dictionary with all the comments in it. Okay. So there you go. I have these comments you can see right in here. There's that one I just highlighted in the console over there. Let me find a different one real quick. Here's a bigger comment. You guys should make a cooking or grilling segment and see who can make the best food with limited items, or just make things from scratch. So that's the comment right there. Okay, so now they're sitting on my hard drive in a JSON file. So we've done this first practice exercise, or this demo really, right? Of using the API key, using this module in Python created by Google to get some 100 comments from this one video and save them out to my hard drive. Now, in a different script, we're going to parse through the JSON file and drill down into the nested dictionaries to get the comments out. Okay, so this is a really deeply nested JSON object. Okay, so let me, I really want to actually just take the time to like show you what I did to create the code that actually gets down to the comments, so you can see how you could go about doing this yourself. When you have a problem where you're like, okay, I don't know the structure, you can kind of figure out the structure by looking at keys. So the first thing I want to do, let me just uncomment, or let me just comment the rest of the stuff. I'm going to comment out all the stuff that I did before the video. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I'm importing JSON. I'm going to open up this connection to the file, which actually is now called something else. Let me grab this exact file name. Copy that into this script right in here. Okay, so that's the name of the file, right? I'm going to save it as a variable in file. Then I'm going to use JSON loads, load a string, and then read in the whole. I want to read in the whole file as one big string and then throw that into the JSON loads, because the S on load stands for string. So this should create a Python object, a Python dictionary. Yep, there it is. So I say print out the comments once you have them in here and tell me what the class is or the type is, right? I think the first week of class, we looked at how to use the type function to see what data type you're dealing with. And so line 7 here prints out class dict. So now I know it's a dictionary. Now I want to know what the keys are. What are the top level keys in that dictionary? So on line 8, I'm going to say, please print out comments dot keys, open close parentheses, right, to give me the keys. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so I got 5 keys or 5 items in this large dictionary. And there's the next page, but we're not going to deal with that now. But here we have items. The last one is items. That seems like it's probably what I need, right? So I'm going to uncomment that out and print out items. Let me just print out the type of items. For now, I'm going to run the script again. And the type of items is a list. Interesting. I wonder how many there are in there. Let's print out the length of lists. Right here, I'm just going to print out how many items are in that list. Run the script again. There are 100. Okay, so those must be our 100 comments. Good. So let's loop over those things. Let's loop over those elements in that list. And so I'm going to put this into a for loop. I'll just make this more explicit and say like comments, for comment in comments, mind the S on this right here because I used the S right back here when I loaded it in on line 4. I called it comments with an S. So I'm going to loop over the comment items here. I'm going to use the variable name comment singular here. And so let's just print these out and see what happens. And yeah, it's looking like it's printing out these comments one at a time. It looks like they'll probably be a dictionary, given that they're curly braces. Let me make this bigger. Curly braces around each item in this, each element in this list. Okay, I can double check that by printing the type of comment. Right. So right now, comment in this for loop is each element in that 100 element list. I just want to know what the type is. What type is it? I assume it's going to be a dictionary, but just to double check. Yeah, these are dictionaries. Each is a dictionary. Okay, good. Well, let's see what keys we have in there. Like what items are available in each comment. What do we have here? We have 4 things. Now, through trial and error, I discovered that it's snippet that we need. And snippet has the actual comment. So let me show you that. I'm just going to print out code comment snippet. And you can see that this is a snippet right here. Okay. And it's looking like another dictionary. We have a highly nested set of dictionaries in here. Let me just print out what the type is just to verify that it is a dictionary. Yeah, these are each dictionaries. Okay. So what we can do at this point, I will just go ahead and print out comment. I want to drill down into the snippet. And then after I've done that, I want to look at the keys. What are the keys that snippet has? Run this little script. Okay, so it's got these. Video ID, top level comment, can reply, total reply count is public. And so it looks like top level comments gonna be what I want, right? So let's print that out and see what that's got. So I need to drill down into snippet a bit here, and then I need to do the same syntax to get top level comment. And let me just go ahead and run that and see what we get when I ask for that. And we get top level comment. Okay, so we're getting closer to our actual written, language by a human being. Right here, text display and text original. Okay, we're getting closer. That's looking like a dictionary, right? We have curly braces. So let me just double check that. I'm just gonna copy that bit of code, paste it down here, and then just say, hey, I only want the type. Just tell me what the type is of this thing once you get it. So give me comment, give me snippet, drill down to the snippet dictionary, and then from there, drill down into the top level comment, and just what is that? I just want to know what that is, the data type. And this should be a dictionary. Yep, it's a dictionary, as we would expect. So that means we want to look at the keys of that dictionary. Okay. So let me go into top level comment again, and then I'm on the right side of that closing square bracket. I'm going to do dot keys so I can look at the keys of this dictionary. And what do we have? We have kind, e-tag, ID, and snippet. If you just look at one of these, you can see, okay, there's kind, there's e-tag, there's ID, and then here's snippet. It looks like snippet has a value of a dictionary. Okay. I mean, at this point, I can just kind of go straight in here. I'm just going to go comment, okay, snippet. And I really can just save myself some typing and just do copy paste like that. Okay, so I want to get into the snippet within the top level comment, which is within the snippet of the comment. Anyway, we're going way down in here. We're drilling way down to this highly nested data structure. Let me just see what happens if I print that out. And okay, so now we have this video ID, text display, text original. Just for good measure, to show this very stepwise process, I'm going to go ahead and print out the type of this just to double check. Yeah, it is a dictionary, as I thought, because it looked like it. So at this point, rather than printing that out, I want to print out the keys. On the right side of that, I want to say, what are the keys of this bottom level dictionary that I'm looking at now? And the keys are video ID, text display, text original, author display name, and other things like count, published at, updated at, etc. But the text display and the text original is where the actual text is that the human wrote. That's what I'm trying to get down to. Okay, so that's what we want to get to. Let's get down to here, snippet. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this stuff. Okay, and then I need to drill down even farther to text, capital D, display. And then if I run this, let's see what happens. Okay. Don't break. There it is. That's the one comment there. That's the actual human written stuff out of all of this, is right there. 524, don't break the TV again, exclamation point. There's somewhere, buried way in here. I'm printing so much stuff out at this point that it's getting kind of confusing on what I'm even looking at the moment. So I'm just going to stop printing out all of this stuff and only print out the last thing I really want, which is the actual human given comment. Okay, there they are. There are the human given comments. Virtual green is amazing. I don't know. There's some emojis going on in here. Good. I feel like I'm going to be a Cody. Let me just see real quick if I can just find that on the page. Oh, there it is right there. I feel like I'm going to be a Cody. No one, literally no one. Garrett, I feel like I'm going to be a Cody. And so, yeah, there's that comment right there. And the emoji came through there. So we've drilled way down into this big JSON data structure that comes in as a dictionary, and it's got all these nested dictionaries to get way down to the actual comment that we want. As linguists, what we're interested in is the actual human generated language, right? So there you go. There are 100 comments from that video from YouTube. And these, I can just not comment those out for the moment as well as we run the whole thing. Okay, there we go. So there are those comments, 100 comments from that video. Again, if you want, you can page through, you can do some more code and page through the next page of 100 comments, the next page. These guys are really popular, so let's see how many code. They have over almost 22,000 comments. And this thing came out 2 days ago. So that would be way too much data for this demo, right? So that is how you can get at comments left on YouTube videos. The cool thing about this is you can get a lot of linguistic data, very spontaneous, non-edited, just real vernacular language here, very quickly. And you can see why you would not want to rerun this every time with the API, hitting the API every time we went through these steps of trying to figure out what the pathway was down to the actual comments, because you'd be hammering the API, and eventually you'd hit your quota for the day and you couldn't do any more. So that's why it's a good idea to save your the comments, the JSON, big massive JSON object to the hard drive, your hard drive, and then don't run that code that requests comments from the API. Okay, so that is how you can get comments out of YouTube videos with YouTube's API. I will point out that you could put this into a for loop, right? And you could, let me jump back to the original code here. You could put this into a for loop or into a function and then just loop over a bunch of video IDs and do the same thing where you're producing a bunch of JSON files, each with a unique file name because it has that unique video ID in there. You could do that as well. Just put it into a function and call that function a bunch of times, or loop over a list of video IDs to get a bunch of comments, more than what we're getting here. Okay, so that is how you can harvest comments from YouTube videos with YouTube's API. All right, let me know if you have any questions during my office hours, and we'll see you in the next video.